family members of Canon Garland, you've come out today. I know you've come a long way to be here, and we're so excited to have you here and to officially open this fantastic piece of infrastructure. I know that we're going to hear from some family members shortly, a little bit more about Canon and his life, but suffice to say I'm extremely excited to be here to open this fantastic overpass. It's something that a lot of members of my community use each and every day, and I'll be sure to let them know about the name change and the wonderful man behind the legacy of Anzac Day. So thank you very much for having me today.
Me and to my daughter Elizabeth for being here amongst you today. It's been a really extraordinary first couple of days of our long stay of 6 days in Australia, and we're so grateful to you, to the members of the Canon Garland Memorial Society, to local representatives who have put their hearts and souls into preserving the name of Canon Garland in this particular way. I thought you would want from me to hear something a little bit about where Canon Garland came from. Remember, he died 80 years ago this day, so this is his 80th anniversary. And I'm much too young to have known him, obviously, by about 9 years. And I'm not named, I don't think, David, because he was named David. There are other people in my family who give me that name. But he has become more and more important to me in my life as I have learnt more and more about him. And actually that has been something which started through the interest which came from the Canon Garland Memorial Society here in Brisbane. That they have helped me to learn something about my family, which is extraordinary. I've done a little bit of investigation about his earlier life. In April this year, I went back to Dublin and Belfast, where in those two areas he lived and worked, and it became more and more apparent to me about how extraordinary this man from this family was. If you know anything of the history of Ireland, you will know that religion has played a very large part in it. And even now, when you walk into Belfast, people are first finding out something about you by finding out about how you stand in terms of your faith, your religious faith. And there is a church on almost every corner in Belfast, with slight differences of exactly where people stand. So he came from a background in Northern Ireland, in the province of Ulster, where he was a Protestant of the Orange Order. In fact, on the farm where his father was born and grew up, they had a chapel built on the farm there, which later has been taken away to the Folk Museum of Ulster and reconstructed as an example of an Orange Order lodge. So he grew up, his father grew up in Protestant Northern Ireland, Ulster, and came after the potato famine of the 1840s in Ireland along to Dublin, obviously in search of work, in search of some way of overcoming the huge misery that there was in that country at that time. He must have been there with thousands of other similarly hopeful young men. He managed to secure a position at Trinity College, Dublin, in which he was a porter, a lowly job, and quite understandable for somebody who's just moved in from a life in the country. But he then obviously worked his way into the heart and soul of Trinity College, Dublin, and on the day after he died in 1904, he was remembered by the board of the university, even as a humble porter. So David Garland, the eldest of his children, who grew up there with him in Dublin, they actually lived, unbelievably, adjacent to the house of Oscar Wilde. And so you can imagine morning conversations, morning David, oh morning Oscar, how are you? It's unbelievable that somebody in that area could be as close as that. But he grew up in that atmosphere there, and was secured a legal position in Dublin, and he transferred that to an opportunity in Toowoomba, where he came when he was aged 22. He came without any intention, I think, of being a priest, and it was only his encounter with a clergyman, Tommy Jones, in Toowoomba, that ignited in him this wish to become a priest. And a very different background. His Protestant background, where they were at daggers drawn with the Catholics in the country of Ireland, suddenly opened up because he became a high Anglo-Catholic within the influence of Tommy Jones. I think those facts, this grit that he learned from his early life in Dublin, to the change of religion that he experienced when he came to Australia, helped him to be the sort of person who could engage with absolutely everybody, who could make a difference to the lives of people, whoever they were and in whatever circumstances. The accounts of his ministry here in Queensland and in other areas of Australia, and indeed for 3 years or so in New Zealand, were ones which showed that he had both extraordinary energy, the sort of energy which means that you work day in, day out in order to achieve the things that you want to do. A total awareness of other people and how their needs are seriously important to you. A growing love of his life in the military and his opportunity to serve in the military and to bring comfort and support to those people who were representing their country and the countries beyond in their lives. The more I learn about him, the more I feel I want to be like him. And I'm so grateful to you for helping me to be the person who understands a bit more about him through the commemoration that you have had of him. So I'm really seriously grateful to all of you. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for bearing witness to my great uncle's memory.